Hello everyone, welcome to our newest webinar. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Anka. I'm a customer success specialist here at Social Bee, and today we're not talking about Social Bee. Today we're introducing our newest product, ACE Meetings, and if you're curious to learn more about what it's about, how you can leverage it, stick around and ask me any questions you might want to know. So, I'm going to start by going over a few things that I usually do in the beginning of our webinars. First, yes, this webinar is going to be recorded, so you will get the session after in an email. Second thing is that in the chats, as you've probably already noticed, there's my colleague Roxana, who is going to be helping you with any issues that you may have, or gathering any questions that you may have so that I can answer them, because yes, there will be a Q&A section in this webinar. So if you have any questions for us, just type them into the chat, starting with the word question so that Roxana can see them and pass them over to me in a document. I'll have it on my phone and we can answer any questions that you may have on your mind regarding ACE. Now, while people are still joining, what I want to know is, are you already using ACE? Do you know what it is? Are you curious about it? So let me know in the chat there if you're using it, if you've already struggled with anything with ACE, and yeah, I'm very, very curious. So I can see Mark has already told us that you are going to use ACE. You have it, but you haven't used it yet. So I'm very curious if you took a look at ACE and if you found anything that might be worth your while. Good. So I'm going to walk you through the main principles of ACE, but before I do that, I just wanted to sit and talk with you guys and just introduce ACE for what it is. So if you don't know, ACE Meetings is a Social Bee product. It's a booking solution similar to Calendly and others like Calendly. It's a place that you can use. It's a product, actually, not a place, that you can use to book meetings or to make it easier for your audience to book meetings with you. Whether we're talking virtual meetings like Zoom calls or Google Meet, or physical meetings with a physical location attached, it will be easy for you to share your calendar with your audience and just have them pick the time that works for them from your available times. That way you won't have to worry about anything like overbooking or not getting the information across in a timely manner. I'm just going to be sipping some water throughout the webinar. I tend to sip water while I talk a lot. So let's start by talking about ACE and how you can create an account. Creating an account for ACE is free to begin with. There's always going to be a free option, so you can try it out. You can see if it works for you. And then if you need more features, you can always upgrade to one of our higher tiers, which gives you more things to use. As Roxana added in the chat there, you can start a free forever account by clicking on that link. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen and walking you through every single feature in ACE. If you have any questions, the reminder is that you add your questions in the chat box there. By the way, I will not be seeing the chat while I do the walkthrough, so I will not be able to answer your questions then. We'll address them at the end of the webinar, don't worry. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully I don't get too much of a lag. Sometimes my computer can get pretty laggy. Let's see. Can you see my screen? Hopefully so. Yes. Okay, cool. So you're currently seeing a completely new ACE account. I haven't done anything to it because I wanted to start from scratch with you guys here and introduce you to what you can connect into ACE and how you can use it to the fullest. So let's start with the onboarding. The first thing when you do when you create an ACE account is to connect a calendar, a meeting link, or conferencing tool, things like that. So let's start with connecting our calendar. You can do that from the to-do list or onboarding wizard that you'll see when you first log in, or you can do it from the settings here at the top right corner next to your name. Let's go into the calendars tab here on the left side. And here you'll find all of the calendars that you can connect to Social Bee. You'll see that for now we have available the Google Calendar and Office 365, but in the future and coming very soon are going to be iCloud and Outlook and possibly other calendar solutions as well. For now, let's connect a Google Calendar and see what it looks like. The first thing you'll see is that it's asking for an email address for you to select the calendar you want to connect to ACE meetings. And once you do that, you're going to allow the connection between the two. I'm going to admit, since this is the first ACE webinar I'm doing, I'm pretty nervous, but here we go. So I've connected my own email here, and as you can see, I have 3 calendars under my email, so I can check the ones that I want added into my ACE account. I'm just going to check my own. I don't want to go for the other ones right now. So now I have my calendar there. I have checked everything that I want to. If I want to connect another one, I can definitely do that as well. But since for now, let's just keep this one so that it doesn't get confusing. I will not connect any other ones. Let's move on to the second step, which would be connecting any conferencing tool that you may have. And you can see under your ACE workspace settings here that you also have a tab called conferencing, which will allow you to connect your conferencing tool of choice. For now, we have 2 options available: Google Meet, which since you've connected a calendar from Google is already available, or Zoom, which I'll connect right now. As with any integration, when you first connect it, you're gonna have to allow access between the 2 programs in order to make them work together. So now I have my Zoom connected here as well. If there's any issues, you can always reconnect or disconnect if you're not using that account anymore and you want to switch over to a new one. Let's talk a few other features that you might find in your ACE settings. And these features include branding. So you can add a logo to your own company here just so that you have it available on your booking page, and you can choose whether you want that to show the ACE branding to show or just your own. You're also able to see any licensing details, billing details. Your account details is where you're going to set up your main subdomain. For us, it's going to be Social Bee Corp right now. You can set this up when you first create your account, but then you can edit it here as long as it's not already in use. You also have the ability to add different users and roles depending on the number of seats that you have in your account. And as you can see, I have 3 different types of users that you can have in your account. So there's the owner of the account, which would be the person who owns the account. There's a manager that has an active role, meaning that you invited that person to become a manager of your account and they accepted, or there's a manager that's invited. So they haven't accepted that role yet. They don't have access to your account yet. And you'll see them color-coded depending on their status. When you want to invite a new user, you'll just click on the Invite User button there, and you'll add the details here, including the role admin or member. Admin is the manager. They have access to a lot more settings. Member is someone who will have a more restricted access to your account. And once you have that done, you'll just click on invite user, and they'll get an email, and it's going to be up to them to accept that invitation and create their own account. Good. Let's check that everything's okay in the chat here. Okay, cool. So let's talk ACE. We've connected our calendar, we've connected our conferencing tool. The next step, the second step on our first to-do list, is to create a meeting type. Now, if you're wondering what's a meeting type, it's the types of meetings that you can set up for your audience. This can be different between people who are holding those meetings. It can be a sales call versus a support call. It could be hair salon appointment. It could be a manicure appointment, for all we care. So it has the potential to become whatever you need it to be, based on your business and your needs. So let's go ahead and create our first meeting type. Since I'm doing this on a Social Bee account, let's focus on Social Bee. And I already have one here called Social Bee Support, which is meant for calls with our support team. You can see that this is a round robin, meaning there's more than one person who is able to take calls in that meeting. And I'll show you now what types of meetings you can create with ACE right now. So there's two types of meetings that you can create now, and there's a few more on the way. One-on-one meetings are meetings that are meant to be held by one person. So my own calendar would become a one-on-one meeting type because I'm the only one with access to my own calendar. But if we're talking success calls, if we're talking sales calls, there's usually a sales team with 2, 3, or more people involved. And in that case, you would go for a round robin, in which case every member of your team would be able to, let me just go ahead and quickly show you what I mean, would be able to add their own availability. So you'd be able to select the team members that you want to join that particular type of meeting, and then share their location or their Zoom account, because you can connect more than one Zoom or Google Meet account for this specific purpose. So if I wanted Julia to go in and connect her own Zoom, she could be able to do that, and we could have separate Zoom accounts for each one of our own calendars. I would add the common details, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but here at the availability stage, this is where you'll be able to see who is available when. So right now, let's go for Monday. We can see that there's both users available here. I can add maybe, let's say, a different user. Let's say we only want Julia on Mondays between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Let's delete the other one. Come on, there we go. Let's say on Tuesday, I'm going to click on the participants, and we only want hello to be available. On Wednesday, maybe there's both available, but maybe, let's say Julia is from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and I'm going to remove Social Bee from that one, and I'm going to add another one and say that Social Bee, or hello at Social Bee, is going to be there from noon till 5 p.m. And in this case, I will unclick Julia. So you can customize this to your own needs, of course, going through working week or going through the calendar week. You can also create days that are unavailable, so no one is going to be accepting calls on those days. And you can create your own needs here. If there are any preferential times, let's say you prefer calls to be booked on a Monday and on a Tuesday, you can just highlight or star those times, and these will be the first times to get booked, and the other ones will become available once those are booked. Okay, I'll go back right now and I'll start on my, yes, I will not save this. I'll start on my one-on-one meeting type. By the way, you can access your meeting types from the main menu on the left side of your screen in the meeting types menu, which is the third one here. You can add a new meeting type at any point, and let's set up with a one-on-one or a round-robin meeting. The details that I'm going to show you are going to be common between the two types of meetings. So the first thing that we'll notice is that there are a few sections here to set up, from the main info of the meeting to the availability setup, the questions you want answered as qualifying questions, notifications you want set up, and a confirmation page, which can be either internal or external. Into the info, let's call these the success calls. And we're gonna internally mention that this is sales calls. We're gonna set this to maybe Zoom, and we're gonna set up a description that's going to be visible to everyone else. So let's say something like, want to know more? Book a call with. Cool. When we set up the meeting link, it can be either the title, which is success calls here, or I can just edit it and make it my own, and I'm making it success call since it's easier for everyone else to notice it that way. By the way, very important mention, if you're writing this from scratch and it's not the title, make sure you use dashes between your words, not spaces, because spaces are not going to be accepted. So dashes between your words. You can assign a different color for each one of your meetings so that you can color code them according to your liking. And since this is a social B meeting type, I'm going to assign it as yellow. Let's go into the availability now, and there's a ton of options here. Before we even get into the times that we're available on, let's see how far into the future people can book calls for. And you can set up the default, which is 60 days. You can change it to months or weeks, and the number can be whatever you need it. Or if you don't want to, you can also say that it can be available indefinitely into the future. I definitely recommend using a time frame, because who knows when you want to go on a spontaneous vacation, right? Cool. Then we can set up our availability for calls by selecting different times for your calls. So right now, people can book calls through this meeting type, calls that are 15-minute long, 30 minutes long, 45 minutes long. I maybe want to remove the 45 minutes and add a 60 minutes option. Maybe someone has a lot more questions and requires a lot more attention. And then there's others who might have only one question, and 15 minutes is more than enough. You can set up your time zone here. So let's go for a different time zone just to see. Let's go for London. You can set up your own time zone, and don't worry, the person booking the call will see the availability in their own time zone. We'll get to that in a minute. So I'm just gonna leave these 9 to 5 default times, but as I said earlier, you can always change them to your liking. Actually, you know what? Let's change them a bit. Let's add Mondays as a preferred one. We're not available on weekends, so I'm gonna leave that as unavailable. And then we're gonna move over to setting up buffers before and after our events. This will give us enough time to prepare for the event before and take notes, follow up, all of that after the event, or even just catch a breath before your next one. You can set it up to be as long as you want, going out from 0 to 3 hours in between events. This means that If someone booked a call with you at 10 a.m., they will not be able to book another call at 10:30 because your first call ends at 10:30. So they will only be able to book the next call at 11. Speaking of 30s and 11 o'clock, you can set up start increments for your calls so that they can only be booked in increments of, let's say, 30 minutes, which is the default. In that way, if you have a call at 10 a.m., they will not be able to book a call at 10:45. They will only be able to book a call at 11. Next, you can also set up some scheduling conditions. Here, you're going to add a limit of hours that people can book calls starting with. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that best, but basically you don't want any last meeting minutes popping up in your calendar. So let's say for now, let's say we just don't want any meetings before 8 hours. So the first meeting that can be booked, the first availability is going to be at least 8 hours from now. And we're also going to set up a maximum daily allowed number of events for this type of event. For me right now, it's 3. Let's go up to 6. That means 6 calls can be booked through this calendar for me at any given day. Next, I am going to go into the questions menu. This has a few presets, and you can also create your own. The presets are the name and email, which are lead qualifying, let's say identifying questions so that you have a better understanding of who you're talking to, right? And then you can add your own questions. Let's say, what should we talk about? There we go. And you can make it a simple line, a single line, a multiple line, so a paragraph. If you want them to explain it in more detail, you can make it mandatory or not. Radio buttons, checkboxes, or even just a phone number. Actually, you know what? Let's add a phone number here. Okay, so if they don't show up, we can send them an SMS reminder, sorry. And you can also ask maybe something like, are you already a Social Bee customer? And let's go for radio buttons and say, yes, not yet. And yeah, pretty much you can create the questions that you need in order to qualify or learn more about your leads before you get on a call with them. Next is the notifications menu, and here you're going to have quite a few options to customize. So you can customize anything from the email confirmation that the bookee gets sent when booking the call. You can create a very personal message from here by using variables, both in the subject line and in the body of the message. And you can also create custom cancellation emails, reminders for your emails, which you can toggle on and off, and follow-ups after your call, which again, you can toggle on and off. You can customize all of these. And as I said earlier, we're going to want to add the phone number so that we can send text reminders. And let's say something like, let's go, hi, I'm waiting for I'm sorry, I can't type today, to join our call here. And let's add a variable with the event location. And they're gonna get it 5 minutes before, just to make sure that they're they're gonna be set. Okay, so I will have this saved as soon as I save the meeting type. So let me go ahead and do that now. And then we're coming back for the confirmation page. Keep editing. Cool. Okay, let's go to the confirmation page now. This is what they're going to see last. So once they book the call, you're going to have the option to display a confirmation page, which, let's say, thanks for booking the call. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon. There we go. Or you can redirect them to an external site, which can be very helpful in case you want to track the number of people who have been booking calls with you, or if you just want to give additional information in a thank you page or something like that. And then you can set your meeting type to active or to draft mode, depending on whether you want to use it yet or not. And then just save your meeting type. I've just done that right now. And as you can see, the first thing that happens is that it's giving you a small summary of your meeting type, saying that the meeting type is called success calls. It's got calls for increments of 15, 30, and 1 hour or 60 minutes. It's a one-on-one meeting type, so it's not a round robin. And this is the link of the meeting, which you can either open in a new window or copy to share with your audience. And let's actually open it in the new window and see what it looks like. I think I just shared one tab. I'm gonna have to stop sharing for a second. Give me a second here. Okie dokie. I think this is better. Can you see it all now? Yes. Okay, cool. So I had it opened here, which is now going to be visible to you as well. As you can see, it's got my time zone since I'm in Romania right now. If I were in the US, I would be getting the US time zone. I can also switch it if, let's say, I'm traveling right now and I want to switch it into my actual time zone. So let's go for London. And that way I can understand better what it is, what time the meeting will be at for when I get back home. Let's say I want this as a 30-minute call, which means already that my availability has changed. As you can see, the 27th is available, but only for 15-minute calls because I already have some meetings booked into that date, and so they will not be available. There's not enough room for it to be a 30-minute or a 1 hour call. Let's book one for tomorrow. No, for next Tuesday. Yeah, so let's book one for next Tuesday. My available times are going to be 9 a.m., 12:30, whatever. So let's go for 12:30 and I'll confirm it. I'll just add my own details here. Okay, and this is for the webinar. And we're also going to add a phone number. I don't have one to show, so I'm just going to add a random one instead. And yes, I'm already a Social Bee customer, so I'm going to click on that and we can schedule this meeting. As you can see, I'm redirected to a confirmation page with all the details to the meeting. It generated a link for my Zoom. It says everything from the time, the date, the time zone, and the duration of the call so that you can get a better understanding of what, when, and how. And you're also going to be told who your meeting is with. So because I created this meeting type with the hello email, you'll see that it's scheduled with Social Bee. If it were with Julia, for instance, it would say that you're scheduled with Julia. Good. Let's close this and go back into the meeting types. And you can now see that there are two types of meetings in my dashboard. There's my meeting types, which is only with my one-on-ones. And then there's my team meeting types, which is usually a round robin. You'll be able to see all of your scheduled meetings here. I already have a few here, thanks to Julia, who's been helping me behind the scenes. Um, so you'll see your upcoming meetings pop up here. And if you have any past meetings, you'll see them in the past tab as well. We don't have ones. Since this is a new account, we don't have any past ones at the moment. You'll also be able to see your meetings in your dashboard. So once you're done with your onboarding steps, you can close this. That will now no longer show up. And you'll see an overview of your next 3 meetings in your dashboard so that you're never caught off guard. You'll see that they're color-coded with the calendar that you chose, which is my success calls. It's the meeting type that I have here. If I had any bookings from my Social Bee support calls, you'll be able to see any blue meetings as well. But since I only have this one, this is the only one that you'll see. Let's reschedule mine. I feel like this is not working out for me. So let's go ahead and add the 27th. I don't need a 30-minute call after all. So let's go for 11:30 and say, let's say, sorry, something came up. And then we're rescheduling the event at the proper time. Oops. This was actually, so someone actually booked a call with me in the meantime, meaning that that time slot is no longer available. So I will not be able to book that time. If I were, I would be able to select it. So we're trying a new one here, and it says that it doesn't work. Okay, so I guess I have a pretty booked calendar. Let's go ahead and try at 9 a.m. If this doesn't work, I'm dropping it. Okay, I'm dropping it. I don't know. I'll have the tech team look into it and see if it's anything regarding my calendar or if it's something that we need to look into. But the point was that you can reschedule your bookings or cancel them at any point depending on your availability or from the other end of your attendees' availability. Cool, that's a long thing to do. Before I end the walkthrough part and I go about answering any questions that you might have, I'm going to talk to you about one last thing, and that is ACE coins. You'll see a wallet at the top right corner of your screen here, and what this is a way for you to earn ACE coins. ACE coins is a way for you to earn special perks, privileges, or governance in the ecosystem that is going to become ACE with all the products that we're going to start developing into ACE. So the more tasks you do here for usage, for instance, like signing up gets you coins, connecting your calendar gets you coins, getting meetings booked gets you coins, and you can connect your wallet and get them in there as well. You can read more information about the coins in our light paper. But pretty much for now, you can use these internally in ACE to help us decide which features to implement next and things like that. In the future, you're going to be able to do a lot more with them. There's 3 main ways in which you can earn ACE coins, and that's by using ACE, by referring ACE, and by making payments to your ACE plans if you haven't done that already, purchasing either a monthly payment, a yearly payment, or a one-time payment gets you a certain amount of coins. Good. Okay, I think I'm done with the walkthrough, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let's see, where is it? And it's time for questions. Let's see if I have any questions here. I do have a few. So David asks, if there are 3 users, you have to connect to 2 other calendars to find free time. Yes, Depends. Is it a round robin, or is it a round robin, or is it a one-on-one? Because if it's a one-on-one, you only need one calendar. If it's a round robin, yes, you need multiple users' calendars in order to be able to find availability. And availability will be found by setting up the way I showed you in the beginning in the round robin meeting type. Next question, where do you enter questions on the sign up page? That's actually a good question. I didn't actually show that part, right? Let's see. Hold on, I'm going to start sharing my screen again. Let's see. Give me a second. Okay. Oh God, where is it? Oh, down here. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I forgot where you can share your screen from. There we go. Can you see it? Yes, you can. Okay. So I'm going to copy the success call meeting type, paste it into a new tab here so that we can open it up. And in this scenario, we're going to try and book a call, let's say for August. I think it's more free in my calendar at least. So let's go for a 30-minute call in August. Let's go August 4th maybe. And you'll see all the options. You select the one that you want. And then the next thing that you do is you ask or answer the questions that are set up in the meeting type. And if you're asking where you're setting up the questions in the meeting type, when you're creating it or when you're editing it, there's a questions tab, and you can use the ones that are already here. These are mandatory by default, name and email of the person booking the call, but then you can also add your own. And I added one that elaborates on what this meeting should be about. I also added a phone number one. And by the way, this one should only accept numbers instead of text. And I also added one to kind of pre-qualify my leads and see if they're already a customer or if they're actually a lead and I can actually make a sale there. So I hope that answers that question. I'm going to leave the screen share on in case there's anything else that I have to show. Next question is there a limit to how many questions can be asked? In all honesty, I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. I'll have to ask the team and I'll get back to you. You can also ask this in an email to our support team. You can just email it at support@useace.com. Next question is there any logic available to the questions? If answered one way, they go to this person. If they answer a different way, they go to a different person. Not yet. So yes, this is something that we want to do, but it's not available at the moment. It will be in the future though. How many calendars can be connected and checked for availability? I don't have the numbers, guys. I don't have the numbers. That's something I'm very unprepared for. I'm sorry. I'll have to ask the team, or you can also email our support team at useace.com. In terms of how many calendars can be checked for availability, depending on how many calendars you have in the connected one for your email, you'll be able to see them all. In terms of how many calendars can be connected, that's a different story. And I don't think there's a limitation at the moment, but I don't want to speak certainty that I don't have. And so please email us at support, and my colleagues will be able to answer that question better than I am. I think that's all the questions I have for now. So if there's anyone else with any other question, speak now or email us later. If not, I'm going to just thank you all for joining us today, and I will see you again with different other webinars. Make sure you follow Social Bee here on Run the World to see all of our webinars, whether they're regarding ACE, means any other ACE product, or Social Bee. And yes, Roxana just made a very good point in the chat there. If you haven't taken advantage of our lifetime deal yet, our lifetime sale is ending in less than 24 hours. So keeping in mind what you saw today and what you'll be able to see on our roadmap, Roxana, can you also add the ACE roadmap to the chat so that people can know what other awesome features are coming? You might want to take advantage of this deal while you still can. You'll see all of the details on the pricing page. And thank you, Roxana, for the roadmap. We've also added a link to the roadmap there as well. Cool. I guess that's it from me. Thank you all for joining. And if you have any further questions, email us at support@useace.com. Have a nice rest of your day and enjoy